Hi everyone, my name's Anne-Marie. Welcome to episode 6 of our journal in January. Now, in today's episode, we're going to do some stamping, and we've got two quite uninteresting photos, but it's a bit of food in there, and it just goes to show that our whole story has, that's what it is. It's telling a story. I know I keep harping on about that, I'm sorry. But it is, and for anybody who's thinking, oh, you know what, this is really boring, I'm going to turn off, that's fine, as long as you end up watching the review at the end, and you'll see every page as we've created it, and then we can just go back to it and look at it if we need to add anything, etc. And then we will have a complete journal of our adventures. And our adventures can be absolutely anything. So it just so happens mine is an adventure to Atlanta in the US from the UK. And it was, you know what, one of the best things I've ever done in my life. It was up there in my top 3. So now you're all thinking, well, what was the other 2? Well, obviously getting married and visiting Silverstone for Formula 1. There we go. So there's my top 3. And I'm not telling you which order that they go in. That wouldn't be fair on anybody. So our page now, our page 4 is food, because we're having our overnight stay. If you remember from yesterday, we just pulled up at the hotel and you saw the outside of it. And bed. So that's quite simple, food and bed. As I said, the most, not the most like interesting photos you're going to coo over or anything. However, they are part of my journey. And what I thought was, we're going to mat and layer them. So I'm using Anna's Perfect palette to mat and layer these on. And that's Anna Griffin's Perfect palette. I always just say Anna, and that's quite wrong of me. I should say Anna Griffin. So this is food. And I had, because I know you're all itching to know, I had a toasted cheese and ham sandwich, and which you'll see over the course of the journal is my favourite food, because I think I have it somewhere else as well. So I'm doing the same with the photo of the bed and the pillows. I'm just matting and layering it. So again, it's on the Anna Griffin Perfect palette. Sorry. So I'm going to mat and layer the bed again onto another layer, another colour, and I've used the Tonic Tabs dies just to make 3 tabs, and I've used Anna's gold foil and satin cardstock. So that's just to give it a little bit of detail, because in these pages, this is quite a quick one today, there's not a great deal of details can be had, and that's what we've said as we go through. Some pages are going to have less details than others, some are going to have more. Now, from the brochure from the hotel, I've taken their I would call it blurb, their write-up about Dine With Us, and then I've also taken from the brochure picture of a bed, and you can see how the two don't look similar whatsoever. There are resemblances, but they're nothing alike, so we won't worry about that. Now, I've also done a little tag, and it says you can't beat a toastie, and that's going to go on the side there. Now, that's basically it. We're not going to put a great deal of actual journaling on this page. We're going to stamp at either side of this photo, and then we can add our photos to the page. Now, what I've done is, because I've laid it all out for you to see where everything's going to go, the main reason I did this was so that I can stamp at either side of this picture. I wanted to get it in position to be able to have it at the right, just at the right place. I'm using one of Anna's calligraphy stamps, and I'm going to leave this picture in position just for the time being, and all I'm doing is I am tapping the ink pad on top of the stamp, light tapping motion. I'm using a permanent ink pad, and then I'm going to stamp just at the side of our picture from the brochure. Press down and lift off, and there we have a nice stamped image. Now don't worry that my acrylic block is getting dirty. As we go along it's going to get even worse. However, I can clean it with the Stays On stamp cleaner if it gets too bad. And there is another product as well that cleans it. I can't quite remember, but it's the Stays On one I use anyway. So I'm going to stamp again at the other side of the photo, and now, because I've made a rookie mistake, I need to move the stamp because of the hinges of the brochure. So I can move the stamp to the edge of the block, like so, and then hopefully, no, other side, Anne-Marie. Hopefully then we can stamp. So I'm just going to ink it again because I'll have got it all over my hands. So I'm glad that happened, because then at least for your reference you'll know just where to put the block. And also it is good to have a little layout so that you know where you're positioning everything. And I think that's about there. So press down, and there we go. We've got our stamped at either side of our picture from the brochure. So I shall just put the lid on my ink pad and put it to one side. So now we can go ahead and we can add everything for this page. As I say, it's not the most exciting. Everything I do use, I shall put in a list on my blog as normal, and then you'll be able to check it out and check all the items out. I will also add a detail list at the end when we get through everything, all 31 episodes. There we go. Just bring that down slightly. If I was really clever, I could stamp just a touch there and make it look like I've stamped all the way and stamped over the actual photo. So I should have thought about that sooner. So that's one page, and now we're going back to the food page and just take away the back of the tape, add the page, our photo, and the write-up from the hotel. There we go. So you can see a journal doesn't have to be absolutely full. It can be as full or as empty as you like. It can have as much or as less details as you like. It really doesn't matter. It's up to you. And I think that would look better there. So I'll add our journal in there. Now, just to keep with the theme of our journal, I'm going to add a little bit of, I think, I was going to add washi tape, but I think we'll add a rose instead. And I'm just reaching for them because my desk is very full, as you'll appreciate. So I've taken my roses through the Xyron machine, and then I've gone around the edges to remove the adhesive so that I can peel away the top layer, and then I'm left with lots of roses on the sheet ready to add to my project. And I think we'll just have two, and one in one corner and think we'll add another one at the other side of the bed. There we go. And I just want to give you a tip while we're doing this. While you've got the top of the Xyron machine, not the carrier sheet, the one that you peel away, if you haven't taken all the adhesive away from either side of whatever you've stuck down, as you've taken it off the carrier sheet, if you dab the sheet on top of whatever it was, that will take off some of the excess adhesive as well. So if you've got any little sticky parts that you've not split from the carrier sheet, that will help. So that is our page finished. And you know what? We're building up quite a story now. We're getting there with our pages, and it's starting to look a little bit like a journal. And I think, you know, I think we're going to make it. I really do. And I could actually, just while I think on, as I've seen page 1, where we've highlighted and gone round our rows on page 1, because we've stamped on this page, we could do the same thing just to give it a little bit of something extra. And we could also do it on the other roses, just on the edge as we go around. Follow that line with a fine line marker, and then put the little lines as if they've been stitched, so it's kind of like the faux stitching, and it just gives it a little bit more interest. This one would be a great one to do it with, because this page, there's not a lot on this page, so you could add more. You don't have to do it. That's the beauty of it. And I'm just giving you ideas of what you can do for your pages and how to build your journal. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this page and learning a little bit more about my adventures. And hopefully you will join me tomorrow, and we shall build another page and carrying on throughout January. So thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you next time.